That time I got reincarnated as a true dragon by NautyManu. Chapter 70. The precautions. After both Velzard and Velgrand took their seats, Rimuru began speaking. It's nice to see you guys after a long time. Velzard and Velgrand both smiled awkwardly at her words. The last time they visited was when the battle arena was made, and since then, almost half a year had passed. It wasn't that they didn't like coming here to relax, they were simply too busy. Velgrand, for one, was occupied with managing the Empire alongside Rudra. The recent growth of the Empire had increased her workload, and Rudra's occasional escapades to fight Guy made things even harder for her. But the most challenging aspect of her duties was learning politics. As a true dragon, she had no experience in this field. Her formidable strength, which had granted her almost everything she wanted, was rendered useless in an empire where her identity was kept secret. So, she began learning the art of negotiations and politics to ensure she wasn't a burden to Rudra. However, lately, she had been having second thoughts about her decision. Humans could be far crueler than any monster she had encountered. As for Velzard, she too was busy managing the lands Guy conquered. At first she was going to leave everything to the maids, but after her big sister scolded her for being lazy, she changed her mind. The Ice Continent, as it is now called, is a place where the strong is right. Due to the major population being demons, this rule is quite suitable. Guy usually leaves all the responsibility to Misery and Rain, as he didn't care much about ruling. And when Velzard heard of this, she honestly didn't know what to say. On one hand, she is furious at how irresponsible her mate is. And on the other hand, she is glad that he has no interest in ruling. Guy can be many things. A destroyer, a demon, a master swordsman, but he can never be a wise ruler. He has no patience or compassion that a ruler needs. So Velzard is usually the one who deals with the one under Guy's rule. Well, she didn't have too much, as demons are quite competent when they know what they are doing. So she only has to read the reports they send and give her input for it. With Misery and Rain handling the troublesome things, she didn't need to learn politics like her sister, but she was nonetheless quite busy. Anyway, putting aside that, I called you guys here to inform you about something important, Rimuru said with a serious tone. Hearing her words, everyone nodded seriously. They knew Rimuru wouldn't like it when they joke around when the situation is serious. You all heard about Lucia being pregnant, right? Everyone nodded again. They would have to be living under a rock if they hadn't heard that news. Well, do you guys remember when monsters give birth, a part of their magicules will flow towards their child? This, in turn, makes the parents much weaker for a period of time, Rimuru said, making them nod again. This was common knowledge at this point. Powerful monsters would go into hiding as soon as they realized they were pregnant. Even after giving birth, for a time period, the parent would be weakened. And it is also the same for us true dragons. For the child to be healthy and full of potential, the parent must give a part of their power. This is also what is happening to Big Brother, Rimuru said, shocking them. They never thought that their elder brother, who created this world, would also be included in this rule. Wait, does that mean Big Brother is getting weaker? Velzard asked in shock. Sadly, yes. His magicules are not regenerating anymore. If I had to guess, he would be unable to use his skill after 8 months, Rimuru said. But Big Sister, isn't that a bit exaggerated? Although monsters tend to lose their power during that time, it isn't that much that you would lose control over your skills. Veldora said, showing off his rare moments of intelligence. Yes, that would be what happens normally, but you should realize when it comes to me and your big brother, nothing is normal. You see, Big Brother is actually facing tribulations, so to speak, Rimuru said with an annoyed face at the end. A tribulation like that in cultivation novels? Veldora asked in puzzlement. Did he somehow manage to enter a cultivation world unknowingly? Yes, it is one like that. You see, when me and Big Brother were making the laws of this world, our Big Brother, with his usual carelessness, added a law that God's love is equal to everyone. I found out about it a bit too late, so I was unable to change it entirely. The only modification I was able to make was that God would face a tribulation, and after he is successful in overcoming it, this rule would forever be removed, Rimuru explained. So it's Big Brother's fault again, Velgrand said, to which Rimuru had to nod agreement. So what are we going to do about this, elder sister? Veldora asked, trying to save at least what's left of his big brother's dignity. His big brother has a tendency not to think about the consequences of his actions. Well, we will take turns guarding him. Velgrund, you can make the excuse of being near their home to visit them regularly. Velzard, go and see him at least twice a month. Say that you are curious about how a baby between a human and a true dragon would be. And lastly, Veldora, you go there with Ivaraj twice a week to deliver the food I make. And I will visit him from time to time while also instructing his subordinates to go to his house and guard it. Remember, don't ever tell him anything about what we talked about. Just go there and try to be as curious as you can be. He should never realize that we are guarding him and Lucia from any harm. Do you guys understand? Rimuru asked, making them all nod in unison. Seeing their determination, Rimuru sighed internally. She hoped all the precautions she is taking are not wasted. She can't let Milum be an orphan again. Especially when she could do something about it. Chapter 71. The Birth of Milum. Time passed in the blink of an eye. Just as they discussed, the true dragons watched over Veldanava and Lucia by visiting them regularly. Although Veldanava felt suspicious at their frequent visits, he dismissed it since he had better work to do. With each passing day, Lucia's cravings increased, making it a bit taxing for Veldanava. Thankfully, Rimuru, who knew how a pregnant woman would act, helped him by supplying almost every craving Lucia wanted. And as expected of Milum's mother, most of her cravings were for sweet foods. Veldanava's subordinates, who were like headless chickens without him, were taken in by Rimuru. She explained to them that Veldanava would most likely not be available to give them any orders for a few months, so she gave them some instructions to follow. Her first orders were to select a team to guard Veldanava in the dark, just in case there was a monster attack. The group happily agreed, and in less than a minute, they nominated a few members for the guard duty. Surprisingly, Dino was chosen as the leader, despite his lazy demeanor. Rimuru didn't mind the arrangement and agreed to it. The angels performed their duties perfectly, protecting Veldanava and his family from the shadows. Due to their house being situated in a quiet place in the Empire, it was quite easy for the angels to protect them by eliminating any bandits or monsters who came near the house. 9 months went by, and finally, a healthy baby named Milum Nava was born. When Milum's birth was confirmed, Rimuru threw a grand celebration for everyone. For an entire day, the restaurant was filled with various festivities. Many people came to see little Milum and congratulate Veldanava and Lucia. Despite the large crowd, Rimuru didn't mind the extra work. She was happy to celebrate this joyous occasion. The one who was happiest of all was Veldanava. How could he not be, finally managing to make a family of his own flesh and blood? The void that was always in his heart was finally filled. At that moment, he felt like the luckiest person alive. Overwhelmed with happiness, he ended up getting drunk, forgetting that almost every skill of his was being sealed. Although Rimuru and Lucia would usually chide him for his behavior, seeing his happy smile, they decided to let him off the hook for today. Soon the party ended and everyone left the restaurant with satisfied expressions. Due to this special occasion, Rimuru went all out in her cooking. This made many crave her food more and more. The next day, ARGG, my head hurts, Veldanava groaned as he got up from his bed. Looking around, he realized he wasn't in his mansion room but in the one he used when living with Rimuru and the rest. Memories of the previous night flooded his mind, causing him to groan in pain once more. After realizing his situation, he smiled wryly and muttered, "Damn, I hope Lucia and Rimuru let me off the hook this time. I really need to stop forgetting that my skills are getting sealed." Contemplating his remaining abilities, he tried to concentrate to see what he still had at his disposal. After a while, his smile became helpless. "Damn, the only thing I have left is Creation Lord Ahura Mazda. Huh? Not even Uriel survived the sealing process. Even so, I can't rely on it since this too can be sealed. Well, at least I have thought acceleration and magic sense with me. With my swordsmanship, I might be able to make do for now," Veldanava said, trying to comfort himself. No man likes it when their skills are sealed or unavailable. Knock knock. Suddenly, someone knocked on the door, startling Veldanava, who was feeling a bit depressed. He quickly composed himself, put on a cheerful smile, and went to see who it was. Opening the door, he saw his wife carrying Milum in her arms. His smile widened as he spoke. "Oh, Lucia, did you come here to bring my sweet Milum to her daddy?" He booped Milum on the nose, eliciting laughter from her as she used her tiny hands to hold Veldanava's finger. Observing her husband's actions, Lucia pouted, puffing her cheeks. "Oh, it seems as soon as Milum came, You forgot about me, she said unhappily. Haha. How could I dare something like that, my dear wife? Veldanava said, trying hard to coax his angry wife, with cold sweat running down his back. Dragon or not, nothing is more terrifying than his wife's wrath. As Veldanava attempted to soothe his wife's displeasure, he grinned mischievously and said, My dear Lucia, how about I make it up to you by granting your every wish? Name it, and I'll make sure it happens. Lucia's expression softened as she considered his offer, her lips curling into a playful smile. Anything? She asked, raising an eyebrow in amusement. Anything and everything, Veldanava affirmed, his eyes twinkling with excitement. You want a week-long vacation to that picturesque village you've always dreamed of? Consider it booked? Or perhaps you're craving those delectable pastries from that quaint bakery downtown? I'll fetch them myself. Lucia couldn't help but chuckle at his enthusiasm, feeling her heart flutter at his willingness to make her happy. Well, in that case, she said, her voice teasing, how about a cozy family picnic in the meadow by the river? We could spend the day lounging in the sun, enjoying each other's company. Ah, a picnic it is then, Veldanava exclaimed, his eyes lighting up with excitement. I'll prepare all your favorite snacks, and we'll make it a day to remember. Milum will love playing in the grass, and we'll cherish every moment together as a family. With a gleam of anticipation in her eyes, Lucia leaned in to plant a kiss on Veldanava's cheek. You truly are too good to me, she murmured, her heart swelling with love. I can't wait for our little family adventure. And with promises of sweets, picnics, and cherished moments, Veldanava and Lucia embraced, knowing that their love could overcome any obstacle, big or small.